Test one, two. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to call our council meeting to order for Wednesday, June the 10th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining us this evening. We love having everyone here in our audience, so thanks for joining us this evening. I'm going to start with the Town of Penetanguishene land acknowledgement. Penetanguishene respectfully acknowledges that we're on the traditional treaty territory of the Neshtebek people and their ancestors, now known as the Williams Treaties First Nations territory. This includes the Chippewa Tri-Council, comprised of Bosley First Nation, Rama First Nation, and the Georgina Island First Nation, Alderville, Curve Lake, Hiawatha, and the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. Also in home of the Huron-Wendat and more recently the historic settlement of the Métis, Penetanguishene is now home to many Indigenous peoples. Penetanguishene is proud of its Indigenous name, and more importantly, that for thousands of years it has been and will continue to be an important homeland and gathering place for Indigenous people. We recognize that we are the stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters and are responsible to ensure that our Mother the Earth is here for future generations. Councillor DeRush, please.
Penetanguishene reconnaît avec respect que nous sommes situés sur le territoire traditionnel et de traité du peuple Anishinaabeg et de ses ancêtres, maintenant connu sous le nom du territoire des Premières Nations visé par le traité Williams. Il s'agit du conseil tripartite des Chippewas composé de la Première Nation de Beau-Soleil, de la Première Nation de Rama, de la Première Nation de Georgina Island, de la Première Nation d'Alderville, de la Première Nation de Curve Lake et de la Première Nation de Hiawatha et de la Première Nation des Mississaugas de Scugog Island. De plus, Penetanguishene était jadis le lieu de résidence des Huron-Wendat et plus récemment d'un établissement métis historique. La ville héberge aujourd'hui de nombreux peuples autochtones. Penetanguishene est fière de son nom autochtone et le plus important du fait que pendant des milliers d'années, elle était et continuera d'être un important territoire et lieu de rassemblement des peuples autochtones. Nous reconnaissons que nous sommes les intendants et les gardiens de cette terre et de ses eaux et que nous sommes responsables de veiller à ce que notre mère, la terre, soit présente pour les générations à venir.
Thank you very much, Councillor DeRush. Welcome again to everyone. Council, I'm going to ask if you would please rise. Councillor Waters, can you please guide us in the council commitment, please?
We are grateful for the many gifts which have been bestowed on Penetanguishene and its citizens, including the gifts of freedom, opportunity, and the peace that we enjoy. May we be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us, and we ask all in attendance and those who could not be here to assist us in promoting good government. May our decisions as members of council be enlightened, and may we all be strengthened in our awareness of our duties and responsibilities. May we be granted the wisdom, knowledge, will, and understanding to preserve the good fortune of the town for the benefit of all and to make good laws and wise decisions. And thank you for attending.
Thank you, Councillor Waters. Councillor Marchand, please.
Engagement du Conseil pour la ville de Penetanguishene. Nous sommes reconnaissants des nombreuses grâces accordées à Penetanguishene et à ses citoyens, dont la liberté, les possibilités et la paix dont nous jouissons. Que nous soyons des intendants dignes de tout ce qui nous ont été confié. Nous demandons que toutes les personnes présentes et celles qui n'ont pas pu se présenter aident à promouvoir une bonne gouvernance. Que nos décisions à titre de membres du Conseil soient éclairées et que nous soyons toutes renforcées à prendre conscience de nos devoirs et responsabilités. Que l'on nous accorde la sagesse, les connaissances, la volonté et la compréhension qui nous permettront de préserver la bonne fortune de la ville au bénéfice de tous, ainsi de faire des bonnes lois et prendre de sages décisions. Merci pour votre présence.
Thank you, Councillor Marchand. Again, welcome everyone for joining us this evening. We like having people here. Council, we're going to move on to the next item, the public service announcement. Sarah, would you be able to help us with that, please?
Hello and welcome to this evening's council meeting. For those of you who may require a washroom, there are public washrooms outside the council chambers entrance to your right. We also kindly ask that cell phones are turned off or put on silent during the meeting. Town Hall is protected by a single source fire alarm. Should the fire alarm be activated, please exit chambers calmly using the rear or side door and make your way down the stairs to the parking lot nearest the church. In the event of a medical emergency, please dial 911. The address of Town Hall is 10 Robert Street West, Penetanguishene. We also have public access defibrillator outside of the main council chambers. Bonjour et bienvenue à la réunion du conseil municipal de ce soir. Pour celles et ceux qui auraient besoin d'aller aux toilettes, les toilettes sont situées à l'extérieur de l'entrée de la salle, à la droite. Nous vous prions également d'éteindre vos téléphones cellulaires ou de les mettre en mode silencieux pendant la réunion. L'hôtel de ville est protégé par un système d'incendie. Si l'alarme se déclenche, veuillez quitter la salle calmement par la porte arrière ou latérale et descendre les escaliers jusqu'au stationnement le plus proche de l'église. En cas d'urgence médicale, veuillez composer le 911. L'adresse de l'hôtel de ville est le 10 rue Robert-Ouest à Penetanguishene. Un défibrillateur est également disponible à l'extérieur des portes de la salle du conseil.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on, council's next item is approve the agenda. I have a motion to read the agenda of the regular council meeting for June the 10th, 2026 be approved as presented. It's moved by Councillor Leroux, seconded by Councillor Marchand. Comments and questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That's carried. Council, 6 is declaration of pecuniary interest. Anybody have a declaration of pecuniary interest tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on. The next item is open forum. Open forum is an opportunity for members of the public to address council about anything that's important to you. You have 2 minutes. We ask that you register with Madam Clerk prior to. Madam Clerk, has anyone registered for open forum this evening?
Thank you, Your Worship. There are several members of the public registered for open forum this evening, starting with Joanne Stedman, and she is going to be discussing Harbor Point subdivision.
Thank you. Welcome. I'll have you come to the podium if you can. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. Again, you'd have 2 minutes if you can address your comments to council.
Okay, we've lived in the subdivision in Penetang for 6 years this year. Totally enjoy living here. But we're having difficulties with deposits that we've paid to the builder, grading deposits in general. We've all contacted city planning department, anybody that will speak to us. Several of us have done this over the years, and we can't get any straight answers. The builder has been completely out of there for 2 years now. Some of our neighbors have lived there for 8 and 9 years. So our roads still haven't been assumed. The money apparently that the builder put down to the city is still being held. There was a letter that went through council last November 2025, I have on an official document from the city, that they were looking at for phase 3 of the subdivision to refund most of the money, but hold back $20,000 for deficiencies. To this date, we're no further ahead between the city or the builder. Our roads have not been turned over to the city. We don't get 100% of services. And again, we're told by different people, oh, it's because you're not assumed. We pay our taxes just like everybody else. And I'd like to know if there's an issue that the money isn't being turned over to the builder, so the builder can reimburse us, close out our accounts, that we know what the deficiencies are and we know what to fight. I don't know if I just get to voice my opinions or I get any responses, or how do we go forward getting responses from the city?
Thank you for the comments and question. This forum doesn't provide two-way dialogue back. We heard your comments this evening. There will be an opportunity later in the evening where a member of council can bring this up and ask staff for a report and more information. Formal notifications that come in is also part of our formal record called our council information package. Council could pull one item from there and ask for further information from staff. So I appreciate your feedback and your comments tonight. And later in the evening, one member may bring that forward.
The council planning department or whatever that we can use as a go-to to find out what the procedures are and how the process is going.
Appreciate the comment. I'm going to have the CEO work with you tonight and identify who on staff would be most appropriate to follow up with your questions and inquiry.
Okay, and will that be later on through the council meeting or?
I'm sure as soon as you walk away from the podium, he'll wave you over and he'll pass his business card to you.
Okay, super.
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, do you have anyone else that's registered?
Thank you, Your Worship. Next up is Dennis McEntee, and he'll be discussing Hospice Huronia.
Thank you. Welcome, Dennis.
I'm going to have to wing it. Your Worship, thank you very much. As you'll remember, I was here at our last meeting, our May meeting, and I was here to remind our community of then our upcoming signature fundraising event for Hospice Huronia, our Hike for Hospice that took place on Sunday, May the 31st. So I just came back. I'm going to be real brief. I just wanted to give everyone an update. It was a gorgeous sunny Sunday morning. We had a record number of hikers come out, well over 300 hikers, families and friends and loved ones for their own particular reasons for coming out. So we're still counting the proceeds, and we are about $123,000 raised from that single event. So I think our voice is being heard. The support from the community, everywhere from Elmvale through to Coldwater, Tay Township, Tiny Township, and the towns of Midland and Penetanguishene are all benefiting from the services provided, and we are eternally grateful for the support that our town has shown and our broader community. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us tonight and for your work and your volunteerism with hospice, and we appreciate contributions. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. Next up is Nick Scarrett to discuss 106 Robert Street West.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us again. The floor is yours, sir. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Nick Scarrett with Innovative Planning Solutions, representing the owner of 106 Robert Street. I'm before you tonight seeking your support to transition this property from commercial to residential, permitting a well-designed 6-unit apartment building. Throughout this process, we've listened closely to the community and amended this project accordingly. In direct response to council and public feedback, we have successfully increased parking on site. This 6-unit density is perfectly conducive to the lot size, introducing a gentle intensification without compromising any site functionality. In fact, this proposal actually fixes legacy issues. Currently, the site suffers from unsafe vehicular access, forcing cars to back onto municipal roadways. Our design consolidates this into a single safe access point with a highly functional parking and maneuvering areas. Furthermore, we have resolved snow storage concerns internally, far exceeding town bylaw requirements. Beyond fixing access, parking, and snow management, this project enhances pedestrian connectivity and optimizes waste collection. By downzoning from commercial to residential, we are removing commercial impacts such as late night noise, delivery traffic from abutting neighbors, reinforcing the established residential character of this area. Most importantly, this development directly delivers on provincial and local mandates to provide attainable housing. This is a textbook example of the missing middle, utilizing existing infrastructure without straining municipal resources. This proposal checks every box for smart, functional growth, and we are pleased that the town staff concur, officially recommending it for approval. Thank you for your time this evening, and we respectfully ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. Next up is Jeff Kenny from the Protestant Separate School Board.
Good evening. Floor is yours. You have 2 minutes as well. Thanks for being here.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, town staff, and members of the public. My name is Jeff Kenny from Strategy for Development Consultants. I am the urban planner managing the PSSBP new elementary school file. For the purpose of my delegation, my brief delegation tonight is simply to say thank you very much to town staff, directors Betty and Murray, as well as Owen Taylor and all review staff. We've enjoyed working with you and having your support of the project through the course of it. I also wanted to thank CAO Jeff Lees, as well as you, Mayor Rawson, for your support. I wanted to highlight two items that council brought up during the information report stage, which was gym size as it relates to community events and parking. The new school will feature a 7,500 square foot gym. As well, the project requires 33 parking and will provide a surplus of 11 at 44. And lastly, last time I was unprepared with a formal presentation, but if council does desire one when the information comes up in the agenda, I am prepared. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Next is Brenda McDonald to discuss 106 Robert Street West.
Thank you very much. Again, the floor is yours. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Brenda McDonald. I lived on Center Street for 36 years. I'm here tonight to reaffirm my opposition to the project and urge council to vote down this proposal once again. The new layout pushes the bulk of the snow storage directly to the fence, which is on the property line for 106 Robert Street West and my property on Center Street. Practically, you cannot push snow through cars. Legally, Penetang's property standards bylaw and Ontario civil law strictly prohibit storing snow where it creates a hazard, block drainage, or risk structural damage to neighbor's property. Stacking heavy salted snow against fence will cause wood rock structural collapse and toxic runoff that will destroy the memorial gardens I planted for deceased, for family and friends. If council considers moving this forward, I request strict binding site plan conditions. 1, snow management. An absolute ban on piling snow against perimeter fences. Required all excess snow to be hauled off site. I can guarantee there is no room for the snow. Eco-friendly de-icing. A total ban on standard road salt to protect surrounding soil and vegetation. Dark sky lighting. All outdoor lighting must be fully shielded and directed downward away from surrounding properties and windows. Privacy buffer. Reinstating the solid private fence and native shrub buffer from the first proposal and add concrete curbs. Drainage runoff. A strict grading plan must be enforced to ensure all stormwater and surface runoff are directed completely away from neighboring fences and foundations, just to name a few. This layout creates an undue nuisance and structural risk. Please uphold our zoning standards and protect neighbors' properties. And I will continue to argue that the changes create an undue nuisance and structural risk to my property, which violates standard site planning control. And again, like I said before, there is no room for the snow. And like I said, there's not one person, including the owner of the property, who's seen the snow.
I thank you for addressing us this evening. That's your 2 minutes. Just so we're all on the same agenda, I'm happy to address that now. That's the time to do it. But that item will be later in another meeting tonight called Committee of the Whole. It'll be item 8C on that agenda. When we get to that part of the agenda, you've been patient with us. I know one night you're here till about 11. I'm going to ask council we move that first in that agenda. Okay, so we won't be dealing with that during this council meeting. We'll deal with a Committee of the Whole after we recess. With council's permission, we'll move the agenda, make that first. Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Next up is Perry Rittershofer in support of the crosswalk painting.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. The floor is yours. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Mayor, council members, staff, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Perry Rittershofer. I am a veteran. I am a member of the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 68. And one of the initiatives coming up tonight is 14C, the painting of crosswalks, specifically the one right in front of the cenotaph by Point Street. On behalf of the branch, veterans, and our membership, we would like to say we support this initiative. Penetanguishene has a strong and long military history dating back to the 1800s. Many residents currently serving, have served, and have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And this crosswalk painting of a remembrance motif is very appropriate and has been done in its other communities. And I think it's very appropriate to be done in this community. It shows support to our military members, our military veterans, and specifically those that have paid that ultimate sacrifice. So on behalf of the Legion, and there is a number of us here, many veterans, we support this. And if any help is needed by the town with this initiative, we are here to help and support you. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your service and for being here tonight and for the work that you do in the community. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Last up is Jennifer Edgen regarding the deposit for Batavia Homes. Sorry.
Welcome. I'll have you to the podium. Again, the floor is yours. You'll have 2 minutes. Thank you.
I think I'm here for the residents who live on at Batavia Homes down Belial. And unfortunately, we have not received our $1,000 deposit at this point. And some of us have been there 9 years. And we'd like to know as a group what's going on and why we have not received the deposit and what's left to be done. And like I said, I think that most of it was said, but I'm here to support everyone there that is not able to come this evening. And I want to stress that it's about time after 9 years that the deposit was sent back to the residents of that neighborhood. And also, you know, because the road has not been assumed, I noticed that the last few winters, the streets, and especially since they've gone down Belial, the side streets aren't being done as well as they were before. And I believe it's because the area has not been assumed by the town as of yet. So hopefully there will be some resolution in regards to this at one point. So if anybody has any answers as to why this has not been looked at, and you know, I think the issue's been brought up a couple of times before. So
Thank you for addressing council. That's your time. I appreciate you addressing us. Sarah, is there anyone online that wishes to address council in open forum this evening?
Thank you, Your Worship. We have no one online this evening.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we have everyone? Good, thank you. We're going to move on, council. Next item on our agenda, statement by members. It's an opportunity for members of council to share with community the work that they're doing on your behalf. Councillor Roux.
Thank you, Your Worship. I've actually had a very busy month since our last council meeting. May the 14th, I attended the Museum Board meeting. On May the 19th, I attended the Curling Club Board meeting. May the 19th, the VON flag raising. May the 30th, I attended the Cycle Rodeo at McGuire Park. June the 1st, I attended the Accessibility Boardwalk opening at Waterfront Park. June the 4th, I attended Seniors Information Day and Luncheon. June the 5th, I attended Heritage Presentation to HS Saint Amand and Sons. June the 5th, I attended the first Friday night concert at our amphitheater. June the 8th, agenda review meeting with Director of Recreation along with Deputy Mayor LaRose. Attended the prevention of seniors abuse session, and then I attended the flag raising for seniors abuse, and I attended recognition event for Brian Murray at the Yvon Court Garden, and last evening again attended the Curling Club Board meeting.
Thank you. Oh, I did. Thank you, Councillor. A busy month. Okay. Councillor Marchand, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Certainly attended a lot of very similar events as well, and it has been really quite busy. Other duties as assigned as a member of council, and great to be able to be out there and support many initiatives that are going on in our community. On May 21st, I attended the SSEA Annual Environmental Awards. So ourselves, along with our other joint municipality partners, we're all recognized with a plaque and a seedling tree. I'm not sure where we've planted that yet, for achieving our climate protection milestone. So that was really a great evening to celebrate all the great work. And then also local community champions who work really hard in terms of ensuring our waters and our environment are being well taken care of. So that was a really great evening. On May 26th, I had the opportunity to chair our Trails Committee, and always a really great, interactive, very productive meeting. I really enjoy being part of that group, and certainly we get a lot of feedback from community members who contribute as well. On the 5th of June, I also attended the Santa Maus and Sons recognition for 150 years, and we do have a Santa Maus in the audience here this evening. And Sue, it was a very well attended event, and the county did a fantastic job of really celebrating 150 years of dedication in our community. And so just a really great event. Wonderful to see all of the pictures and the history, and just really to be able to celebrate that. And also I got to attend the award ceremony for our director, Brian Murray, and congratulations again, Brian, and thank you for all your commitment and dedication to the town. Thank you.
Councillor Vedabunker, please.
Thank you. I won't repeat a lot of what was said there, but I do want to take a minute just to congratulate Brian Murray again, our director. Has been with the municipality for 18 years and was recognized for his service to the municipality. So congratulations again, Brian, and it was a nice event. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vedabunker. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. To spare everybody the same thing, I think the three people have already covered all of our regular things. Congratulations to Brian. Congratulations to Sue. It was an awesome thing. The only thing I had any different was back in May 21st, the mayor and I attended the Simcoe Auto Mayors down in Alliston at the Honda plant with the issues and the tariffs that have been going on down there. It was very nice to see a group come together, and look forward to helping them out all that we can. Thanks, Your Worship.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Drush, please.
Thank you very much. I attended the Wellness and Accessibility meeting on May 21st. And I also attended the Central Ontario Age-Friendly Network meeting. It's a virtual meeting, and that's where we network with various organizations who actually supports and advocates for senior services. So it's always a great meeting to attend. I also attended, like I think almost everyone here, the Accessible Beach Boardwalk grand opening, which celebrated the Accessibility Week, which is the beginning of June. I also attended the Seniors Information Day, which again kicked off our Seniors Month, which is June. We had over 60 information booths catering to, we think, about 350 participants went through. So very happy with that, and thank you to staff for lining that up. I also attended the Midland and Penetang Transit Committee meeting, and I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Drush. Councillor Waters, please.
Hi. Had a bunch of meetings, saw a bunch of people, just like everybody else. But I was impressed this week with since last meeting with Brian Murray. He closed off the main street. Was going to be 2 days, and he managed to do it in 2 half days, and that really went over well in the main street. Made a big difference to a lot of people, and I thank him, and I guess that's why he got the award. And other than that, the other thing that I did that was I thought was good, we had the beach accessibility, and it just shows how a little wee bit of effort on the part of the public and the town can make a big difference to a small group of people. And I think that's was a good project that we'd finished.
Thank you, Councillor Waters. I'm impressed, and we're all impressed with Brian's work, not just the past week, but the last 18 years, as Councillor Vedabunker mentioned. And I think that's why he's Employee of the Year recognition this year. But I would agree with you. CO Lees, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I did have a few things. It's been noted Seniors Information Day, extremely well-attended event, and kudos to staff and the various vendors that supported this event. But these events don't happen, as Council knows, without tremendous staff and tremendous behind-the-scenes work, and certainly the community as well who made it a success. So that was great to see. It's been noted, Mr. Murray did receive our Outstanding Service Recognition Award, and I will just reiterate a few things I said the other night, which is that's an annual event that we do. We had, again this year, we had a number of great nominations that were put forth, and no better deserving recipient than our Director of Public Works. Today, we had our annual joint health and safety inspection of all town municipal facilities. Our health and safety committee splits into two groups, and they go around and do inspections, and it's a bit of an event that really just complements our monthly inspections. So a great event, great buy-in by our committee, and really just reiterates and reinforces the safety culture that we continue to hammer home here, not only for the community, but also for our staff. The water and wastewater transition to Aqua is ongoing. We continue to work through that with Aqua as well as the union, and the transition date has been set for July 6th. I anticipate we'll have some more information to share in the coming weeks and month. And then last but not least, Your Worship, just day 3, our new Director of People, Talent and Culture, Paula Anderson, is with us this evening. So her first council meeting, her first committee meeting, and we're excited to have Paula join us and be with us, and lots of things for her to get kind of brought up to speed with, but excited to have her leave her mark and assist the organization moving forward. Your Worship, those were my updates. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Elise. And I also want to wish you a happy birthday. You're away from family tonight and you're spending it with our community. We recognize your work last month for 10 years of service to the community, and you came back tonight to celebrate your birthday with us. So thank you very much. I want to do the balloons and cake, but I don't think he welcomed that thought. But maybe at the end we can do a little sing-song together. Paula, welcome to the community. We're glad to have you. The floor is yours if you want a few words.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship, and members of the council, fellow staff members, and the public. As Jeff eloquently said, that my name is Paula Anderson, and I'm your new Director of People, Culture, and Talent. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. Also, like Jeff said, it is day 3. I'm really trying to connect faces to names and get to know everyone. I've been on tours in the buildings. I did inspections today, and I've been busy getting to know my new role here in the town of Penetanguishene. So thank you, and I look forward to getting to know everyone in the weeks and months to come.
Thank you very much. Okay, I won't repeat what my colleagues mentioned, but just a few I'd like to go over, Council. Today I actually went to Beaton, did a tour with the County of Simcoe for the new Simcoe Village that the County of Simcoe has put up. And it's basically the next version of Georgian Village. A lot of lessons came from Georgian Village. It's an award-winning institution. County takes great pride in the work they've done at Georgian Village. It was great doing the tour today because so many times it was, this is what we did at Georgian Village, and they basically made it a little bit bigger, better, but phenomenal facility. We're hoping to get occupancy October of this year. Finish the fit up, and then move in will start February of next year. So it's a pretty neat opportunity for the community. Participated this past Saturday with our friends from the Legion. Watch what they do. They're doing phenomenal work in the community and supporting all the time. Great events. But there's a commemoration for D-Day at the Cenotaph, and thanks for the invite and ability to participate. And I believe the next one's August the 19th. Pretty good, eh? So watch, because there's always great things. I learn something every time. I also went, Council, to the 724 Midland Lions Air Cadets annual event in Midland. So it was a great event. 2 weeks ago, we had James Keating Elementary School here, 26, 27, grade 5, 6 here. They love sitting up here. So I think there's going to be some competition, but it was a great opportunity and really good questions. I thought the questions were phenomenal. Participated in our previous Director of HR, Christine Heighton's retirement celebration. The Deputy Mayor already spoke about the Simcoe Auto Mayors, but I want to talk about that for a second. Honda is in Simcoe County, and there's 4,500 people that directly work at Honda. There's about 37,000 jobs that spin off from Honda. About 80% of the production that comes out of Honda is exported across the border, 80%. The tariffs are having a tremendous impact, tremendous. It's affecting jobs across the province. And we need to be loud about this because this is going to affect everybody. It's going to affect our community. It's going to affect the entire community. This is a big, big, big serious issue. We're working on it, but stay tuned because there's going to be lots more coming out from the Simcoe County Auto Mayors. Thanks for bringing that up, Deputy Mayor. I also participated a few weeks ago with the OPP Central Region, facilitated a discussion with the Police Service Board chairs for the detachment boards. That was a well-done event by the OPP. Council, with your support, we know we've been advocating with the Solicitor General regarding our Central North Correctional Center policing costs that our municipality is affected with that. So with your support, we've done a little more advocacy on that. I want to thank Sarah for supporting videos and communication. I can tell you that it's come to the attention of the ministry. We did have a meeting yesterday. So stay tuned. We hope to have some more positive feedback for everybody about that in the very near future. And I won't repeat the other items that my colleagues have mentioned. Thank you, Council. And for the community, that's just a little update about the work being done behind the scenes. All right, Council, let's move on. Next item. 9's our proclamations. We have one, and it's regarding the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. We did raise the flag, Council, together earlier this week. Before I read the motion, does anybody have any comments or questions? Seeing none, the motion reads the following proclamation be approved as presented. Again, one regarding the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day on June the 15th, 2026. It's moved by Councillor Vadabonker, seconded by Councillor Marchand. Further comments? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That is carried. 10's our public meeting. We don't have one any this evening. 11's delegations and presentations. We have two, and I'm going to make my way to the podium for the first one. So our first award, or presentation tonight's award for the Senior of the Year, and I think it's to no surprise to anybody who that is. I think, and I said this during the event at the arena last week, it probably should be of the decade. But Anita, you've served the community your life. You've been a teacher, a guide, a mentor, a facilitator, a coach, a leader for the community. And I think when I think about Penetanguishene, I think of Anita Dubo. Thank you, Anita, for all you've done. I don't think there are enough thank yous for all you have done and contributed to our community. I think the committee did great work on, it probably wasn't even much of a debate, but selecting you as the Senior of the Year for 2026. And on behalf of our council and our community, thank you for all you've done to grow and make the community all it is today. I want to repeat what was stated at the seniors event last week. So the 2026 Senior of the Year recipient is a lifelong resident of Penetanguishene, having served more than 20 years in public service with the town of Penetanguishene. In addition to her career, she has put significant volunteer time, having a positive impact on many facets of our community. Throughout her adult life, she has and continues to volunteer for many local groups and causes such as Girl Guides and Brownies, Friends of Penetanguishene Museum, the Penetanguishene Library, Rotary Club, Quota Club, and the Lady of St. Anne's Church. Through the church, she caters and cleans up at special events, helps prepare and deliver meals to guest house shelter, reads at Sunday Mass, and counts collections for the Parish Rectory weekly. She is a consistent volunteer for town events, including Winteremma, Canada Day, Seniors Information Day, Seniors Barbecue, and museum events such as the annual Easter egg hunt. She lends her time and expertise to various community boards and committees, including sitting as a board member for the Georgian Bay Cancer Support Center and previously the Huronia Community Foundation, as an active member of the Town of Penetanguishene Wellbeing and Accessibility Committee. Friends describe her as reliable, energetic, compassionate, organized, dedicated, dependable, and always willing to help anyone in need. Her dedication, leadership, and volunteerism have helped to make Penetanguishene a vibrant and welcoming community. She has gone above and beyond with her continued remarkable contributions, leaving a lasting and positive impact on the community. It's for all these reasons and more that the town of Penetanguishene is pleased to honor Anita Dubo as a 2026 recipient of the Senior of the Year. And we didn't acknowledge Council, Deputy Mayor, Mayor, County of Simcoe Councillor. And there's probably another scroll, but Anita, thank you so much. And we also have a certificate from the Honorable Raymond Cho, the Minister of Seniors and Accessibility for the 2026 Senior of the Year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, just a few. Certainly, Mayor Rawson, thank you, and members of council, and thank the Accessibility and Wellness Committee and our esteemed leader, Councillor Jarash, who leads us in our meetings. Excellent. It's an honor for me. Oh, I forgot the very important thing, to thank my nominators, Jenny, who is sitting in the audience, and I'm sure she had a little bit of help from this guy sitting here. And wanted to thank them very much. And for my family that is here this evening, not all of them are here, but they did come at the senior event last Thursday as well. So beautiful recognition. Certainly, I'm very honored to be among the list of people that received this honor in the past. And how I think of my parents, Bernard and Kathleen Sanama, who taught us at a very young age how important it was to give back to the community. So that is a legacy that we have in our family. So thank you very much. Thank you. Well, the one thing I do want to mention is the Penetanguishene thing, of which I guess I'm a little famous for. I was a real young, new participant at County Council, and they were making a presentation, and through the whole presentation, it was Penetang, Penetang, Penetang. So I had enough nerve to put my hand up, and I said, moving forward, could you please use Penetanguishene? Well, the floor erupted, and nobody ever forgot that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I didn't see the triple bouquet of flowers at one at the event. Very nice.
Okay, thank you. We're back. Again, congratulations to Anita on her contributions to our community. We'll move on Council's 11B. It's regarding a presentation from the Severn Sound Environmental Association regarding the water quality monitoring and citizen science program. I believe our presenter's online this evening, Sarah.
The presenter is online, and we just ask that you turn your camera and mic on. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Your Worship, and good evening, everyone. Deputy Mayor, member of council, staff, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to provide the update on water monitoring in the town of Penetanguishene and share some of our future plans. I just want to check if you can see my screen.
We can see it fine and hear you great. Thank you for being here.
So, first, I'd like to give a quick overview of our current monitoring programs. So we have our lake monitoring program, which includes Penetang Harbor, which is monitored monthly, and you can see our monitoring site in orange on the map on the left. Monitoring includes measurements of basic water quality parameters and water sampling. SSA also monitors Copeland Creek through the Provincial Water Quality Monitoring Network, and our monitoring site you can see in the map as a blue dot. Monitoring includes monthly water sampling and measurements of basic water quality parameters. Starting in 2025, SSA began using new tools to collect and share water quality information more quickly. And one example is our new Aquatrol 700, which is cutting-edge multi-parameter zoned, which make our life much easier. And I want to thank to the town for the financial support. This tool allows us to process and report monitoring results within about 48 hours after field visit. And as a result, we started producing rapid reports with the focus on identifying and reporting possible algae blooms. Last year, reports for Penetang Harbor were issued monthly, and we will continue this year. And to make information easier to access, QR code signs were installed at monitoring locations with support from town. And residents and visitors could scan the code and use the latest monitoring results directly from the SSA website. And we will continue this rapid reporting program in 2026. Okay. So now I would like to share some monitoring results. And I try to put together this kind of rapid report where you can see gauges and colors, and all is color coded. And here I have results for Penetang Harbor, and we have two monitoring sites over there. And at both of open water site, the main concern is that chloride level and electrical conductivity are slowly increasing. And just for information, electrical conductivity tells us how much dissolved material, including salts, is present in the water. Overall, water quality index is between marginal and good and increasing. Water quality index is a summary measure based on several indicators, including phosphorus, dissolved oxygen, and water clarity. Now I have some updates on stream condition. So Copeland Creek continues to have elevated phosphorus and nitrogen levels. We are also seeing increasing chloride level and conductivity similar to Penetang Harbor. The water quality index for the creek falls between marginal and fair, but there are signs of improvement. And my next slide is about our new citizen science program called Smart Water Watch, which is partially funded through the Great Lakes Freshwater Ecosystem Initiative by the Canada Water Agency. And Penetang Harbor is covered under this program. This program combines community observation, SSA water quality monitoring data, satellite imagery, and online reporting tools. Through this pilot program, residents and visitors can submit observation and photos of lake conditions using an online form. While there is a strong focus on algae blooms, people can also report other unusual lake conditions they noticed. And I want to emphasize that this does not replace reporting blooms to the ministry. This is our internal SSA tool that helps us better understand where blooms occur and how they move and when they develop. SSA will review all submissions and follows up when needed with additional monitoring, sampling, or site visits. And you can join this program by scanning this QR code, and everyone is welcome. And actually, that's information I have on my slide, that anyone can participate and people can choose how involved they would like to be. The program is still under development with full implementation planned for 2027. However, the lake condition reporting tool is already active and available for public use, and you can see a QR code that you can scan and fill the form if you see anything like unusual and you want to report to us. Also, we develop pilot signs with QR code that allow residents and visitors to quickly submit observation from the field, and we hope to work together with the town to install the signs near monitoring locations and public access points to make reporting easier for residents and visitors. And my next slide is about our Smart Water Watch introductory webinar that SSA will be hosting on June 30th from 10:30 to noon. Everyone is very welcome. And this webinar will feature 4 guest speakers. We will have representatives from the Canada Water Agency. Also, we will have a representative from NASA who will discuss the STREAM platform. STREAM provides satellite-based information on chlorophyll and water clarity around the world. And NASA became interested in SCCA's monitoring data, which we share with them, and as a result, that STREAM platform coverage will be extended to include 7 Sound region. Also, we will have a professor from Queen's University who will discuss the use of satellite data for lake monitoring, because right now it's a really hot topic. I know lots of discussion about that, and we hope that Smart Water Watch program will help us to understand limitations of satellite data and how they can be used. And finally, we will have a professor from University of Maine whose team developed so-called Hydrocolor mobile app that we will be using as a part of this project. So basically, you can use your smartphone to collect water quality data. And if you want to know more, please join us this webinar. You can register using this QR code, or I believe we already posted on Facebook and Instagram, so you can find that information, or you can contact me. And my last slide, it's about future of this project. So this project is funded through March 31st, 2029. And the goal is to build a long-term data set to develop ways to use satellite data to support water monitoring. The tools and method developed through this project will become part of SCCA's regular water monitoring program after the funding period ends. The lake condition reporting tool is also planned to remain available as a long-term resource for both monitoring and public engagement. That's all I have for today. Thank you again for the opportunity to present, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Council, comments or questions? Councillor Vadabunker.
Thank you, Worship. I have 2 questions. My first question has to do with chlorides in the water. Do you notice that they decline as the summer season progresses? Is this more of a spring phenomenon from the snow melt and then it declines, or is it steady pretty much through the season?
Through your worship, thank you for the question. In general, we can see rise in chlorides in spring samples, and they are more or less stable during the rest of the season. But so far, we can see some like increases during like late spring period. I'm still working on data analysis. Right now, we have just like preliminary results for that. So I didn't have a chance to look at whole data. And if there is interest, I'll be able to provide some dates once I have like more information on that.
Thank you. Follow up.
Thank you. My second question has to do with E. coli in the water. So when you test for that as well?
Through the worship, it's a great question. It's not easy one. So in general, E. coli, it's a part that the health unit is doing. So SCCA right now is not doing E. coli testing, but I know there is like lots of interest in that and people asking lots of questions, lots of discussion about that. So right now we are thinking and gathering information how to proceed with that. But what I clearly see that there is like growing interest in that, and we need to understand like what we can do, what limitation, what we can what information we can provide, because right now we are not doing testing for E. coli.
Thank you.
Councillor Mershaw.
Thank you, Your Worship. And thank you, Alona, for the wonderful presentation. As the co-chair of the SSCA and our member representative, I'm always really impressed with the work that's being done through our joint municipal board and work through the SSCA. There's just really great examples tonight of our research is being looked at by universities and organizations like NASA because of the quality of the data and the work that gets done in terms of grant applications and finding those opportunities. This team has done a fantastic job of looking and seeking and finding those grants. Last year alone, over $500,000 in grant funding was found and sourced for the SSCA to ensure that we have great water quality. The other thing I would just highlight too is that water monitoring has already started for 2026, and the technology and the work that's being done to have results within 48 hours of our water being tested is really, really important and is accessible, and the QR codes are located at the various entry points. And so just on behalf of the SSCA and certainly on behalf of the town, we really do appreciate the work that you're doing, Alona, and the whole organization. And thanks for this presentation this evening. Thanks, Your
Thank you, Councillor Mershaw. Council, any other? Councillor Waters.
Yeah, just a little clarification if I could. I noticed on the slide where it has overall trends, it states that the total nitrogen and phosphorus are decreasing. And then on the very next line, it says total phosphorus have started rising. And I just wondered what the status of the phosphorus is. Is it increasing or is it decreasing?
Through Your Worship, thank you for the question. So I just want to clarify which slide. Because like in general, in our reports, we have two different things. So we have overall trend, which is trend since beginning of monitoring. So it can be, for example, for Copeland Creek, it's since 1994, and for our open water, it's since 1969. So that's an overall trend, that's for whole period. And then we are looking into trends over past 10 years. That's why we have trends since 2015. And sometimes situation can be that overall trend is decreasing, but over last 10 years, the parameters start increasing. That's why confusion can come. For example, here for average totals, yes, that's true. That overall trend decreasing. So it means that since 1969, overall total phosphorus decreases. But over the last 10 years, there is like some increase. It's not as high as it was before that, but we still see this like increase. Sometimes it can be slight, but we decided to look into trends over past 10 years, just to have like more updated data.
You want to add clarity, Councillor Waters?
Thank you for that. The second part of the question would be, if the phosphorus is increasing, what would the main cause of increase in phosphorus be?
Yeah, through the chair, thank you for the question. It's a tricky one. So let's say if we want to know exact phosphorus source in exact area, we need special study for that. So in general, we just looking in changes in phosphorus. As like for general, many studies look into phosphorus source like in different areas in general. They said that there are several natural and human related mostly sources of phosphorus, and these include such things as fertilizer runoff, septic systems, wastewater, urban storm water runoff, and different things. But to know exactly, we need special study and to be 100% sure.
Thank you. Any other questions, Council? Thank you very much, as Councillor Marchand said, for your leadership and support and the work that you do for our member municipalities. So thank you for being here with us this evening. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Council, we're going to move on. The next item is our adoption minutes not already confirmed. The motion reads the following minutes of the council meetings be confirmed and adopted as circulated. It's for Council May the 13th, 2026. It's moved by Councillor DeRush, seconded by Councillor Waters. Comments and questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That's carried. Our next item is a consent agenda item. Council, last month we had a presentation regarding this. Thank you, Andrea, for quickly turning this around. This memo was fulsome and answered the questions I was hoping for, so thanks for that. Before I read the motion, Council, any comments or questions? Seeing none, the motion reads the following consent agenda items have been given due consideration be received for information. It's one regarding the Planning and Community Development Departmental fee reviews. Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Marchand. Comments and questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That's carried. 14A, we're moving on to matters for consideration. The first one's regarding St. Andrews Village initial acceptance of site works. I'll read the motion and we'll open up for questions, Council. Motion reads that the initial acceptance of the following underground municipal services within St. Andrews Village subdivision be approved. Regarding the water distribution system, the sanitary sewer system, stormwater system, electrical system, road structure to base asphalt and concrete curbs. It's moved by Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Waters. Comments and questions? Councillor Vadabunker.
Thank you, Worship. We discussed this at section meeting earlier this week, and the question I posed, actually there were two. The first was that in this particular subdivision, which is just off Fuller Avenue, south of Pine Grove, the services have been in the ground. The asphalt's been there, curbs, everything been there for 2 or 3 years with no activity, and whether that had an impact on the on that infrastructure. And the response I got from the director was no, that it was still in good shape. It had been inspected, and it's still fine. So it's worthy of being accepted. The second question I had is with respect to securities, to ensure that the municipality maintains securities in case there should be something that does fail between now and final acceptance. And the director assured me that we are maintaining securities with respect to this. So it's here before council for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Vadabunker. Deputy Mayor, do you have a comment? No. Any other comments or questions? We'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that's carried. Next item 14B is regarding Bill 119, the proposed Protecting Ontario Streets and Communities Act. Report reads that staff report PL 2026-31, Bill 119, the proposed Protecting Ontario Streets and Communities Act 2026 be received. And that staff be directed to submit comments to the proposed Bill 119 to the Environmental Registry of Ontario as outlined within staff report PL 2026-31. It's moved by Councillor DeRush, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that is carried. Next item 14C is regarding the crosswalk line painting. I'll read the motion. Motion reads the following crosswalk locations and events and themes be completed in 2026 as part of the Roads Division line painting operations. First one's Main and Robert Street, one pedestrian crossing to be painted in recognition of Truth and Reconciliation Day. Main Street and Point Street, one pedestrian crossing in observance of Remembrance Day and to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Penetanguishene Royal Canadian Legion Branch 68. Main Street and Water Street, one pedestrian crossing to be line painted to reflect Franco-Ontarian Day celebrations. And Main Street and Beck Boulevard, one pedestrian crossing painted in recognition of Pride celebrations. It's moved by Councillor Roux, seconded by Councillor Marchand. Comments and questions? Councillor Marchand.
Just one quick, just a couple comments, but thank you very much for the report. I'm happy to see it being brought forward for this coming fiscal year and approved through our budget. Thank you very much for the Legion for being here to show the support in moving this forward. I'm happy to see that the locations, I think, are very strategically identified for the various crosswalks, and I'm really happy that we're moving forward to recognize Truth and Reconciliation, the Francophone community as well, close to the Friendship Center or the Francophone Center. And the Pride celebration as well, in terms of the Rainbow Walkway as well. So I'm really happy to see this being moved forward.
Thank you, Councillor Marchand. Further comments or questions? Councillor Vadabunker.
Just thank you, Your Worship. Just a question with respect to the various locations. We heard the presentation from the Legion earlier that they had made a request. Did we receive any other requests from organizations with respect to the line painting that's being proposed?
Elise, I'll send that to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through to Councillor Vadabunker. We haven't received any other formal requests from other organizations or community groups aside from the Legion, but we have had, I think it's fair to say, kind of informal requests or comments over the years with respect to other initiatives that we could and should celebrate as a community from an inclusivity perspective. And so what you see this evening is reflective of what we've heard from the community.
Thank you, Elise. Further comments or questions? Councillor DeRush, and I'll go to the Deputy Mayor.
Just one comment. I know that I think we've heard from the Legion certainly about the crosswalk, so that's given us a good indication of what their expectations are. And I would hope that if we do have time, that we reach out to the organizations linked to the other three crosswalks. So La Clé de la Baie could possibly be for the le Drapeau Franco-Ontarien and the Pride. We do have organizations that we meet every year with for the flag raising and whatnot. So I hope we reach out to them before and share what we're planning so that we can get their support and that we're on the right track. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Josh. Elise, it's safe to say you and your team will reach out to the appropriate groups before we move forward with implementing anything?
Through you, through you, Mayor Rossin, to Councillor DeRush, for sure, we will certainly at a staff level reach out to those groups and organizations and ensure that we have their full support.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. That was most of my question, was to make sure that these other groups have been notified, to make sure it's what they want, if they want. Some may want it, some may not want it. The other thing that I would ask is if staff could make up a set of rules for this. How long does it take? How long is it there for? Who else can apply for it? Do we have other groups that want it? What are the rules? Is there partial payment? What's the rules? So similar to our electronic sign, not everybody can use it. You know, we have a set of rules that needs to be abided by, and we should develop a policy for this.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, we have a motion before us. Are you looking to amend that, or are you going to bring it forward as a future referral item?
Well, Your Worship, I was hoping that would just be a small add-on to make sure that these groups are informed, make sure that what they are proposing and what we are proposing are the same thing, and that a policy be developed.
I think it's just more than a friendly amendment. So if you want an amendment, you can introduce one or bring a referral.
We can do it as an amendment if you'd like.
Okay, bring it forward.
There it was. I don't need to repeat it, just to make sure that that's added on, that the groups are informed what our expectations are, what their expectations are. Are there a time limit? And how does a group apply to have an intersection done?
Okay, so we have an amendment moved by the Deputy Mayor. Madam Clerk, do you have that?
Through Your Worship, to Deputy Mayor LaRose, did you also want to reference the policy that you were requesting of staff to develop as well within the friendly amendment? Thank you.
I'll look for a seconder for the amendment. It's seconded by the Councillor Vadabunker. Madam Clerk, just so we're all clear, can you just restate what the amended motion is, please? when you have a moment.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the motion would read that the following crosswalk locations and events themes be completed in 2026 as part of the roads division line painting operations, which are listed. And that organizations are informed of the potential works and that they agree with what's being proposed, and finally that staff be directed to develop a policy.
Does that work, Deputy Mayor? Yeah. I hope I'm not going to support it just for clarity. I think we're complicating this process. I think you can bring it forward as a referral item, but I'm going to ask any questions on the amended motion. Council, comments on the amended. Councillor Marchand.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to support it. I don't want to see this delayed. I think this was brought forward as a request from council with regards to the original request on how we look at pedestrian crosswalks. We had built this in the budget, and we had talked about other organizations and representation across the community. So I'd like to move forward with the motion as it's presented. And I agree, if there needs to be a policy, we bring that through committee, committee of the whole as a referral item.
Thank you. Further comments? We'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that's defeated. We'll go back to the original motion, and we have a mover, second. Further comments and questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that carries. We're going to move on to the next items. 14D is regarding the Development Charges Reduction Program. The motion reads that staff be directed to apply the Development Charges Reduction Program, and that the town commit to amend the Development Charges Bylaw 2024-23 to apply a 60% reduction to all residential development charge categories for a period of 3 years upon entering into an agreement for the purposes of the Development Charge Reduction Program. And finally, that the town will provide a municipal contribution to the Fox Street Sewage Treatment Plant project of 15% for the purposes of the Development Charge Reduction Program. A mover, please. Moved by Councillor DeRush, seconded by Councillor Marchand. Before I open up for comments and questions, Council, just for members of the public, the province just notified us on June 1st of a grant program that's available, and we have days to apply. Literally days. The program closed, I believe, on June the 19th at 10 a.m. And a normal DC program would take us months, if not a year or longer, to figure out. We had days to figure this out. On the surface, I probably wouldn't have supported this, but Yashak County, I think we had a great presentation, and staff really impressed upon us the importance of really supporting this. I want to thank staff for pulling this off in hours to get this on our agenda tonight to support this. Council, a risk to us is it could jeopardize future funding opportunities in the future. And that's really what this is about, is it could jeopardize future opportunities. What we're asking staff is to put in an application. If we are successful in our application, then what we would do is we would decrease our DCs, and hopefully the amount, when we decrease our DCs based on the amount that would be funded. So we're not committing until we know if we will be awarded. I believe the date of awarding will be by August the 19th. So there's a lot of fast moving parts here, but I want to thank staff for the work they did on that. CEO Lees, I'm going to turn to you or the director for any further comments, and I'm going to open it to council. Further clarifying comments on the report.
Thank you, Worship. I would just say, just reiterate a couple things you said, which is this program came out on June 1st. Application closes June 19th. And our understanding is the actual application itself is not yet available. So staff did a tremendous job in planning and development, finance, as well as public works and engineering to pull this together in such a short period of time. I would also just reiterate that, you know, this is what the province wants to see. And so we've tried to put together an application that hopefully is appetizing and lucrative for the province in hopes that this may assist in spurring and spawning some development here in our community. Your Worship, with your indulgence, would just offer if our Director of Planning and Community Development has anything further to add.
Director Betty?
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Yeah, this was a very quick turnaround for the guidelines and the application. What we proposed through this is what we have titled a competitive application to the province. We know and recognize that we're not necessarily going to move the needle in terms of new housing starts in the town of Penetanguishene. We're not one of the biggest or fastest growing municipalities in Ontario. And so we have a limited impact, but it's significant for the town of Penetanguishene. I would also just say that, we've had a couple busy years of housing construction, and then the past 2 years have certainly died off. We haven't been building houses for 2 years here. Over those 2 years, we've had a number of conversations with our developers who are struggling to build homes and to make their finances make sense for them here. So I know that this will be very well received by the development community in Penetanguishene. I think it will spur development in the town, and so that's a good thing. The other thing I just probably wanted to say is, with this application itself, it was a bit of a struggle in that we've invested heavily in our infrastructure, and that's to Brian and Carrie's work on making sure that we are set up for growth and development. So identifying a capital works project where we had we needed a huge investment from the province or the federal government was a little bit difficult because we've already invested in our major systems. And so we did find one where the benefit will help the municipality, but I find it interesting that, over the years, we've planned well and invested well in our infrastructure, and because of that, we won't have an opportunity to get the big dollars that are out there. So it's a bit of an odd one, but we hope that we have a competitive application, and we hope that the province takes a look at it favorably.
Thank you, Director Betty. My final two comments. Usually when we want to make changes to our development charges, there's a formal process and we have to have a public meeting. The province has enacted legislation that we don't need to do that process. So what we're following is all on side with legislation to meet these timelines, and we don't need to follow that. The other thing I'll state is this was unanimously supported by county yesterday. I know when we talked to our lower tier friends, we're saying it would be difficult for developers that Ms. Betty was just speaking about if the upper tier did, lower tier didn't, or lower tier did and the others didn't. So I just wanted to share with you what that was. Deputy Mayor, we probably were almost an hour debating this item alone at county yesterday. So the motion's on the floor, Council. I just want to give that for everyone as background. Comments and questions. Councilmember DeRush.
Thank you very much. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see this on our agenda, and I actually, after soaking it in, I think that it would be great if we could put in an application. We talk about trying to increase our housing inventory everywhere. Everybody's talking about not enough housing. What can we do as government to do that? And the government's given us, the provincial government's given us an opportunity to do just that by incentivizing us to provide reductions for development charges to the builders. So it's a small little thing that we can do, but it's certainly showing that we do want to do something and that we're putting our money where our mouth is. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor DeRush. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the Councillor Vedabunker.
Thank you, Worship. So this is an interesting one, and I want to begin by thanking staff for the quick turnaround. As was indicated, it was just announced and we got a report on our agenda tonight. But if you read the report, and staff have been very clear, there are risks associated with this. And I understand the strategic component, and I could see why municipalities may want to get into the game, so to speak, because there's a strategic element to this in terms of making sure that you're applying for these types of grants. But my question to the director was, at the end of the day, if we're successful in getting the grant, is what we're asked to give up going to be equivalent to what we get in the grant? Like, are we going to spend more are we going to lose more because we're giving up DCs and we're going to have to make a municipal contribution to the Fox Street treatment plant, and we're going to get less in the amount of the grant? And to be fair to the director, he said, that's a good question. We're not sure. And there's risk there. The second risk is that when you start to pull money out of your development charge reserves, which apply to all the elements of your development charge, including the multipurpose rec center, that's less money that's available for the multipurpose rec center. And around this table, we have said that that's a priority in terms of where we want to allocate dollars. So I understand the strategic part. You know, I think I'm going to support it just because I think it's important to be there. We may get it, we may not get it, and I guess if we do get it, we can turn it down. You know, reluctantly, we've always been, you know, striving for grants, but the risk is something that, you know, as I said, staff have carefully outlined that risk, and we just have to make sure we're doing the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vadabonker. Just to echo that, comment came out at county yesterday. And to your point, I think our tough work will be, staff will need to do is come back in August and say, this is what we received, and here's that delta. And at that time, we'll have to make a decision, are we willing to go in or not at that time with the data we know? And again, this will be retroactive. They're asking that the DCs are retroactive back to March. So we'll have to have a bylaw at that time to do that retroactivity and make an informed decision. Is the funding worth what we feel it is? So a great point. And right now we're just asking, can we apply? Appreciate that, Deputy Mayor.
No, that was the same thing, Your Worship. I was just going to explain to the councillor that we went through that yesterday, and that was a very big pause in the room. Everybody was like, well, hang on, if we give it up, and you're giving it up for 3 years, and it's millions and millions of dollars down there, especially. And our general manager of finance brought it forth to us, said there's a drop dead date of August the 21st. You'll get informed before then on what we would be eligible for and what we would receive. So at that point, he said they'll give us about approximately a 1 week time frame. Again, lots of time for staff. They get to go over it and decide whether we would then get to decide whether this is a good idea. There's no use giving up $3 million if we're going to collect 2. We might as well wait and collect our 3 and keep them the same. So, yeah.
I think the only correction, I think the date's August 19th. The 21st is the filing date for the election. Not that that's political, but I believe those are the dates. Any other clarifying comments or questions, council? Seeing none, we're going to call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That is carried. The next item, 14E, is regarding the Ontario Clean Water Agency Service Agreement. Before I read this motion, I'm just going to say thanks to staff. I know it's been a difficult couple of months. Probably been more than that, but there's been a lot of work on this. I know you've done a lot of great work on this. I know council deliberated and gave direction, and you've done a lot of work. So COLEs to you and your team that's facilitated that. Thank you. Council, I have a motion that reads that the draft agreement between the Corporation of Town of Penetanguishene and the Ontario Clean Water Agency be approved as presented in Attachment 1, and that the CEO and the Director of Public Works are hereby authorized to make minor alterations to the agreement that does not substantially change its content. And finally, that staff bring forward the necessary bylaw for council approval. It's moved by Councillor Waters, seconded by Councillor Vadabonker. Further comments or questions? Councillor Vadabonker.
Thank you, Worship. I have a couple of questions, if I may. Just going through the agreement, and I recognize we only got the agreement very recently, so it was a quick read, but I wanted to understand how 2 significant projects that are on the horizon for Penetanguishene are going to be dealt with. We heard an earlier presentation from our director with respect to the Fox Street sewage treatment plant, how potentially we're looking to convert that sewage treatment plant into a pumping station possibly, and just to flow this, the sewage directly to the Main Street sewage treatment plant. So it would no longer be a plant, it would be a pumping station. And the second major project is the Robert Street West wells rehabilitation. And so that would bring those wells on. And I was looking for some acknowledgement in the agreement how those 2 I would view as being changes, significant changes, would be addressed from an agreement standpoint, you know. And I did mention this to the CAO just before the meeting started, that I would be asking the question, just so that it would give some time. There is some reference to changes, and there's a change order type of sheet attached to it, but I'd just like to know how those two major projects would be accommodated going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vadavonker. Lees, can you address those for us, please?
Through your worship, I'll maybe ask our Director of Public Works to speak to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Through your worship to Councillor Vadavonker. In that situation, so the capital projects that you're referring to within our 10-year capital plan, in terms of the impact that it has on the operational agreement that we have with Aqua, we would consult once we have verification on any impacts associated with their operating agreement with us in terms of if there is any deficit or addition required as part of that operating agreement. That would be addressed, as you noted, through a change order to the contract. At this point, both projects are in our 10-year capital plan. If there's any impact to the operating budget or operating agreement within our 5-year agreement, they would bring that forward to us, and it would be brought forward to council for approval as an amendment to the agreement. So that's, if there is any changes at all, that's how it would be handled.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Follow-up, Councillor Vadavonker.
Thank you. Is there a time frame in there, Mr. Murray, with respect to, say, the implementation date, say the Robert Street West wells are coming on stream? Is it something that's determined 6 months before, a year before, that type of time frame?
Through your worship to Councillor Vadavonker, Aqua would be instrumental in during the design and construction phases of both projects. So as they go through to the construction and commissioning phases, we would discuss and have a collaboration with Aqua in terms of any impacts that it has, if any, on our operational agreement, and that would be done likely 6 months to a year prior to commissioning date.
Thank you. So that would fall outside of the change order process, or would it be a change order?
If there was a change needed to the operating agreement regarding additional staffing resources, for example, to operate the Robert Street West wells, that would happen through a change order style change to the contract, and that would be discussed and agreed upon by both parties prior to initiating.
Thank you. I was thinking the other way with the Fox Street sewage treatment plant not being in operation, that we may see a reduction in terms of the staffing allocation. So thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Or answer.
Thank you. Is that it?
No, I had a second question. My next question has to do with staffing. And at the special council meeting, the presentation about the moving toward Aqua made reference to our staff and how our staff would be transitioning over to Aqua. And it talked about employee agreements. I'm going on memory here, and I don't trust my memory because it's been a long time, but when the municipality went from a municipal police force over to the OPP, and when we had the Public Utility Commission went to Barrie Hydro, there were clauses in terms of how the staff would be integrated into the OPP and then into Barrie Hydro, which occurred in both situations. And with Aqua taking over, our staff are also being integrated into Aqua, but there's no mention of that, at least what I could read in the agreement. And so I pose a question to Mr. CAO with respect to that in terms of that transition of our staff into Aqua. If it's not in the agreement, how is that being handled?
Thank you, Councillor Vadavonker. I just want to be cautious this one because some of this was closed items that we did and closed that special council. So I'm going to turn to the CEO. I just want to be mindful of our special, but I'll leave it to you to address the question.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through to Councillor Radaboncourt. I think what I would say is Aqua had made commitments to us as a municipality, and they have fulfilled those commitments in terms of transfer of employees and transfer of staff. Very recently, those commitments were fulfilled in terms of offers to employees. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. And Councillor Radaboncourt, I'm sure COEs would be happy to address them with you. If we want to move close, happy to, but I think you've identified that. Any other?
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this item, Council? Seeing none, I have a mover and a second. I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that carries. All right, moving on. The next item is a presentation, consideration report from Committee of the Whole. Just for members of the public, when Council adjourns their meeting, we move into another meeting immediately thereafter called Committee of the Whole. And it's the first opportunity for Council to debate, discuss, amend, and we make a recommendation, and it comes forward the following month, and Council would make that ratification or tweaks or revision. So what we're going to go through is what we actually discussed last month, okay? So the first I'm going to look for is Transportation Environmental Services section. I'm going to turn it to Councillor Radaboncourt for that report, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. We had two consent agenda items on the last Transportation Environmental Services section meeting. The Midland Penetanguishene Transit Ridership Quarterly Update for Q1 and a memo dealing with the implications of the new provincial and federal buying act on town purchasing. We didn't have any items for consideration, but we did consider two items for the referral list. One was from yourself, Your Worship, that a referral item related to environmental controls to assist in mitigating odors from the sewage treatment plant be added to the Transportation Environmental Services section referral list, and that was approved. And the second referral item had to do with communication about the processes that are used at the sewage treatment plant, and that communication be developed and shared with the community, and it was felt that that's something that staff could take away and not actually add to the referral list. And so there we had the our referral list with the two existing items and then the new item. That's it, Your Worship. Duly moved by myself and seconded by the Deputy Mayor that Council approve the items under the Transportation Environmental Services section meeting as proposed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Radaboncourt. Does anybody wish to pull anything for further comment or question? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That is carried. Councillor Roux, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. May 13, Committee of the Whole Recreation and Community Services dealt with 5 items on the consent agenda. One was the Wellbeing and Accessibility Committee meeting minutes of March the 5th, 2026. Second was the Museum and Heritage Committee meeting minutes of March 12th, 26. Library Board meeting minutes February 23rd. Fourth was the Wharf Sinkhole update, and fifth was the 78th Annual Winterama Post-Event Report at 1 Winterama Schedule 2026. Under matters for consideration, there were 3. One was the Museum Activities Report for 2025. Second was Framework to Truth and Reconciliation. And third, Access to Affordable Recreation Policy Update. Under referrals to upcoming agenda staff, there were 5. One is the Truth and Reconciliation. Secondly, the Gateway to the Rotary Champlain-Wendat Park. Thirdly, Capital Plan for PMCC. 4th, Community Youth School Partnership. And 5, a request from Anglican Parish. So it is moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor LaRose that the recommendations contained within the Committee of the Whole report of May 13 related to recreation and community service section be approved.
Thank you very much, Councillor Roux. Comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that is carried. Councillor Rush, please.
The Planning and Community Development Services section had 3 consent agenda items. The first was the Planning and Community Development first quarter update. The second was the Committee of Adjustment meeting minutes from March 23rd, 2026. And the third was the Economic Advisory Committee meeting minutes from February 2nd, 2026. There were 4 matters for consideration. The first was the extension to the draft approval for 2 Beck Boulevard, and it was recommended that the approval be granted to extend the draft plan of condominium approval until 2031. The second item was results of the public meeting for the Town Dock Secondary Plan and Master Plan, and it was recommended that the official plan amendment be approved and that it be submitted to the county for final approval. The third item was the Planning Community Development Department fee review, and it was recommended that notice be provided of the changes and that a statutory public meeting be held. And lastly, the last report, the fourth one was St. Andrews Registration of Subdivision Agreement, and it was recommended that the town enter into subdivision agreement with Tonking Management. Only one item remains as a referral, and that is 161 Church Street and its options for future use. As the chair of the Planning Community Development Services section, I move the motion, seconded by Vice Chair Waters, that the recommendations contained within the Committee of the Whole report related to the section be approved.
Thank you very much, Councillor Drush. Anybody wish to put anything for the comment or question? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that is carried. Councillor Marchand, please.
Thank you. For Finance and Corporate Services section, we had 1 consent agenda item, financials. We had no matters for consideration brought forward, and items for future review. 1 item was removed and 1 item remains. I support, as the chair and seconded by Councillor Waters, that the recommendations contained within the Committee of the Whole report of May 13th, 2026, related to the Finance and Corporate Services section be approved.
Thank you very much, Councillor Marchand. Anybody wish to put anything for the comment or question? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that is carried. Moving on, next item is presentation, consideration, report from special committees. We have none. 17, motion of which notice has previously been given. We have none. Does anybody wish to present a notice of motion this evening? We have none. We're going to move on to consideration of the bylaws. Before I read the bylaws, anybody wish to pull them for the comment or question? Okay. May 1st, 2025, the province of Ontario provided strong mayor powers to a number of municipalities across the province. Town of Penetanguishene is one of those municipalities that has strong mayor powers. So at the start of bylaw readings, I make a declaration whether I intend to veto any bylaws. As per the strong mayor legislation passed by the province of Ontario on May the 1st, 2025, I, Mayor Doug Rossiter, hereby decide not to exercise the power to veto the following bylaws passed at the Town of Penetanguishene Council meeting on June the 10th, 2026, in accordance with subsection 284.11 4A1 of the Municipal Act. And council, the bylaws are that the following bylaws be enacted as bylaws of the Town of Penetanguishene, that they deemed to be read a first time, deemed to be read a second and third time and carried. And it's bylaw 2026-26 regarding the official plan amendment number 2 for the Town Dock and the Town Dock secondary plan. Bylaw 2026-27 regarding subdivision agreement regarding 1145 Fuller Avenue, St. Andrews Village. And bylaw 2026-28 regarding agreement with Ontario Clean Water Agency. I'm going to look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Marchand, second by Councillor Veta-Bunker. Comments and questions? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? And that's carried. The mayor and deputy mayor, until November, serve as your representatives at county council. So every meeting, the deputy mayor reports back to you about the work that we're doing on your behalf at County Council. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. We talked about the one thing we did, the development charges, but we did have a light agenda. It only took us 4 hours to get through, so that was kind of a nice morning on Tuesday. We did have one, in my opinion, very important presentation that was made, and the presentation was about intimate partner violence. We were asked to declare it as an epidemic at the county and asked that all 16 member municipalities do the same. In my opinion, it is an epidemic. One of the stats that they provided for us, which was amazing to me is that it showed that it affects 44% of Canadian women. And to me, that was just, how can that not be a big problem? So we're going to deal with it. That number actually goes up higher in rural areas, which was very surprising to me, but so it is a problem. So for members of council, I'm sure you're aware that you've seen it come up on our agenda that we will be delegating about this at AMO this year in August. So at that point in the meeting, the mayor happened to say, to let people know that we are delegating as a town, and asked if there was any other member municipalities that would like to join us. Well, in the middle of the meeting, there was just a whole group turn, put us in, put us in, put us in, the hands were up. So it should be very nice for us as a municipality to be the delegating member municipality, but with all the other mayors there to bring that point home. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of traction at AMO this year with that. So that will do it for today, Your Worship.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anybody have any comments or questions for the Deputy Mayor? I saw some ayes, so I'll just make a comment. The province has created legislation that after the municipal election this year, only the mayors will be representing the municipalities at County of Simcoe. So right now it's deputies and mayors. There's 32 of us at county. There'll only be 16 going in November after the next municipal election. The other change that's happened is we'll no longer elect our warden. Right now we elect a warden from within. So one of the mayors and deputy mayors elected to become a warden. The province of Ontario will be appointing our warden in the future. It'll be a chair, and that will become a strong chair. So we're just working through that process now. Council, announcements and inquiries. I'm going to look this way first. Any announcements or inquiries? Councilor? I know.
Okay. Friday night concerts, barbecue by the Lions Club to continue until the end of summer. That is at our amphitheater, and the first one was last Friday. And then we have the Canada Day celebrations to be held July 1st at the museum grounds. And then in regards to the Butter Tart Festival in Midland, there will be no shuttle bus service this year. However, it will be a free transportation day on June the 13th. The next one is the Meet the Rec Team. Come meet our recreation and events crew at the Rotary Champlain Wendat Park. Try out the amazing amenities, borrow equipment, and discover exciting programs and events happening near you. Don't miss it. Equipment available to borrow for beach volleyball, basketball, sandcastle building, and cornhole. The event details is Tuesday, July 7th from 11 to 1 p.m. at the Rotary Champlain Wendat Park. And my last one is the Playgrounds and Pathways, the summer pilot program. Need a break this summer? This program is for kids only. Guardians are encouraged to take these 2 hours to themselves. 3 dates and teams. Register for each separately. Tuesday, August 4th, sports. Tuesday, August 11th, trails and treasure hunt. And Tuesday, August 18th, garden, play, and crafts. Week 1, Tuesday, August 4th, 9:30 to 10:30. And the week 2, Tuesday, August the 11th, 9:30 to 10:30. And the third week, Tuesday, August 18th, 9:30. The first week will be at McGuire Park. The second week will be on the Payette Trail, and the third week will be at the Ecology Garden. $10 per day, pre-registration required. And that is it, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor. I was trying to be funny because you always have one. That's why I looked here, but Councillor Marchand.
Thank you, Your Worship. And that's because we have a great member of staff who makes sure we have the posters and we talk about them at our committees, which is great. So I get to share a little bit about the Little Trails Explorer. So we talked about this at our Trails Committee and we were presented the other one. So I'm glad that Sherry divided it up amongst us. So this is a great opportunity for children and caregivers. It's a pilot program. It is 3 different events happening between 9:30 and 10:30. And it's really just to come and explore our local park. So it is little ones and caregivers. So it is to explore Rotary Champlain Wendat Park, Payette Trail, and Martin Valley Park. There's a minimal cost for this program. And if you visit the website or if you want to scan the QR code, it is available for our community members to enjoy.
Thank you, Councillor Marchand. Councillor Vadebugger.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. In honor of our Legion friends here, every second Saturday, there's a meat bingo held at the Legion, and it's MEAT bingo. And we've got the best caller in the house with us tonight, and it starts at 3:30. It goes for about an hour and a half, and it's a fundraiser for the Legion, which the Legion puts back into the community, as we heard earlier this evening. So I'll just put a plug in for the meat bingo.
Thank you, Councillor Vadabunker. Elise, it's your birthday night. I know you want to get home, but any announcements required on behalf of admin? And I said it twice tonight, so announcements.
Not that anyone's counting, Your Worship. Thanks for the opportunity, Your Worship, but I don't have anything to share on behalf of the team.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Confirmation bylaw. The confirmation bylaw 2026-29 be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerks. Moved by Councillor Vadabunker, second by Councillor Marshall. All in favor? And that carries. And we're looking for motion to adjourn at 8:42 p.m. We'll be back in 5 minutes with committee of the whole, and we're going to move planning up first. Okay, thank you. All right, Council, welcome back. We're going to call our Committee of the Whole meeting to order for Wednesday, June the 10th, 2026 at 8:51 p.m. Before I call the approval of the agenda, Council, I'd like to move planning section up before T&E. So it's going to go council information package, then we'll go to planning. We have had members of the public here previously until almost 11 o'clock. I don't want to keep them tonight, so we're going to move it up, okay? So with that amendment, Council, the motion reads that the Committee of the Whole agenda for June 10th be approved as amended. It's moved by Councillor Marchand, seconded by Councillor Drasch. We'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That's carried. Does any member have a declaration of interest tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to delegations and presentations. We have none. Next is our council information package. Council, does anybody wish to pull anything from the council information package for further comment or question? Councillor Marchand.
Thank you. Just a quick comment for the May 20th information package. Just want to bring your attention to our meeting with the SSEA for Q1. But I think more importantly is really just the infographic that is provided that just provides an opportunity, a snippet of all of the great work that the SSEA is doing. We did chat tonight and also mentioned that the water monitoring has started. So just a really good snapshot and pictorial of the work that they're doing, and just wanted to highlight that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marchand. Councillor Vittabunker.
Thank you, Worship. Just a question. There's a number of letters from the Harbour Point residents on both CIPs. Do we need to pull one and refer one for action to be formally on our agenda to pursue?
I think that'd be the action, Madam Clerk.
Through you, Your Worship, to Councillor Vittabunker, if that the will of council, if that's what you'd like to do to provide some direction to staff, please do.
Thank you, Worship. So it doesn't matter to me. There's probably a half dozen there. So if one of them could be pulled, and then that would be the referral, and then we'd obviously keep the list of all the others that sent identical letters. Then we can respond. I think the CIO has his hand up there, Your Worship.
Thank you. Just for clarity, are you looking to add this as a referral item, or do you want to bring this as CIP and an action item from the CIP?
No, it's going to be added as a referral item.
Okay, that's fair.
But my question was, do we need to pull it in order to add it as a referral?
No, I think you can just introduce as a referral. CLEs, did you have something? Oh, sorry, Madam Clerk.
No problems. Sorry, could I just add, we staff have the letters and we'll be addressing them through meeting with the residents and providing some input on next steps and whatnot and answers to their questions. So we are already moving forward in that sense. So I'm not sure. Please do if you want to add a referral item. However, it is already something that's in motion.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Anybody else, anything on the CIPs? I just want to make a comment on a couple. One is on the May 20th as well. There's a letter there from our local member of parliament, Adam Chambers. Just for everyone's information, council a while ago asked that we do a little more advocacy regarding Central North Correctional Center, and council made that motion to do that. We did coordinate a meeting with MP Chambers. I met with him probably about 3 weeks ago and explained to him the process that we've uncovered at this point. That's his letter of support, which we followed out to the Solgen as well. So I think it was appropriate, and I appreciated his support with that cause. So I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. Now that we've done those, the motion reads that the council information package having been given due consideration be received for information. We have two of them regarding May 20th, 2026 and June 3rd, 2026. It's moved by Councillor Marchand, seconded by Deputy Mayor. We'll call for the vote. All in favor? And opposed? That's carried. Councillor Drasch, if you can guide us through planning and community development services section, please.
Certainly, thank you. So the section has one consent agenda, one consent agenda item, and it is the Town Dock Technical Advisory Committee meeting minutes. And the motion reads that the following consent agenda items having been given due consideration be received for information. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Leroux, seconded by Councillor Marchand. Oh boy. Do we have any questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. We have several items under, or 2 items under matters for consideration. And the first is regarding the results of the public meeting for 138 Robert Street East. I'm sure you've had a good look at this item. Does anyone have any questions before I read the recommendation? Seeing none, then the zoning bylaw amendment application file number ZA2-2026 concerning 138 Robert Street East be approved on the basis that the application is consistent with the provincial planning statement, conforms to the County of Simcoe official plan, conforms to the Town of Penetanguishene official plan, and represents good planning for the reasons outlined in staff report PL-2026-27, and that a bylaw to amend the Town of Penetanguishene's comprehensive zoning bylaw 2022-17 be brought forward for council approval. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Weddle-Mokur, seconded by Mayor Rawson. We'll go to the vote. All in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. The next item is the zoning bylaw ZA3/2025, 106 Robert Street West. Everyone's had a look at this report. Are there any questions before I read the recommendation? Yes, Councillor Weddle-Mokur.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this report, I guess, is a follow-up from our last meeting where council took no action on the particular matter. So it's before us again, and I've been reading some of the background material. I've had conversations with the planner for the applicant, and I had a question for our director. In the report, it goes through and makes reference to the planning analysis that was done for the application at under the last the report that was considered at the last meeting. And in the section of the report, Madam Chair, dealing with the town's official plan, it does a bit of analysis of the policies, the neighborhood policies in the official plan, and it talks about the character of the neighborhood, and there's a statement in the official plan that talks about the importance of maintaining the character of the neighborhood. And in the planning staff report, there was opinion offered that it meets the character of the neighborhood. So I would just like to ask the director, through you, Madam Chair, excuse me, if she could expand on the rationale behind that statement, that the proposed sixplex meets the character of that immediate neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Director Betty, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and through you to Councillor Weddle-Mokur. I appreciate the question tonight. So just to clarify, compatibility with neighborhood character doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be the same character or identical character in the same neighborhood. So for my opinion, in looking at this application, and it's my opinion that it does commit to, or does uphold the character of the neighborhood. That section of Robert Street East and Center Street has a mix of uses in there. It's largely low density single detached, but there are multiple number of small-scale commercial uses as well as small multi-residential dwelling units across the road on Robert Street, for example. Those multiple dwelling units in close proximity have a very similar type of lot size, parking that's being provided. So for those reasons, I do believe that the character is being compatible with this development. The proposed development does keep the residential scale in mind. It's a 3-story building that's similar to what would be permitted as a single detached dwelling. They've tried their best to create appropriate setbacks and transitions to minimize impacts and adverse impacts to neighboring lands, such as shadowing of the residential properties. And as I noted, this is on a major road as well. So for those reasons, this is the type and location where we would want to see these types of buildings, where they have easy access to major roads and can continue to maintain that sort of street presence and street frontage. So in my professional opinion, this has met the policies of the official plan for neighborhood character.
Thank you for that. Yes, Councillor Marchand.
Thank you. And I do appreciate the additional information that's been brought forward and questions were addressed. I think I struggle with just the sheer size and density that this would mean in that particular corner lot. And so although we know that housing is paramount and there's a need, this sixplex is, I'm really struggling with just that density in that corner, and that space feels really, really quite tight from that perspective for me. Thanks.
Councillor Rhoda-Moker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So after the public meeting, and as you may recall, Madam Chair, there were numerous people that spoke at that meeting, and there were a number of comments that were raised. Some of them were repeated earlier this evening at the council meeting. And the planner for the applicant did issue a supplementary planning memo that outlined the changes that had been made to the site plan as a result of those comments. One of them was the addition of the one additional parking spot. One, as he spoke, was moving the garbage enclosures inside the building, and the other one of interest was the snow storage. And the snow storage area. Just a question again to our director with respect to the snow storage area. It's my understanding that our zoning bylaw does make reference to snow storage area, and I'd like to understand the snow storage area being proposed in this revised site plan. Does that meet the requirements, exceed the requirements of the zoning bylaw? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Director Betty, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm just going to pull it up on the zoning bylaw. I don't have it at the tips of my fingers what the requirements are. I know our zoning bylaw does talk about snow storage, and the requirement is that any parking lot that's designed to accommodate more than 5 spaces shall provide an area equivalent to 5% of the required spaces for the purpose of snow storage. And I do believe that meets, that's been demonstrated in the concept plan that they've provided space for that 5% for snow storage. I'm not sure if the applicant could confirm that one, but I do remember that that was identified in their resubmission.
Supplementary?
Thank you, Madam Chair. With respect to the implementation, if council were to approve the zoning bylaw, the implementation would be done through a site plan and a site plan agreement. I've seen in the past where snow storage areas abut a fence and with contractors, and they're all very good at what they do, but when they pile snow and it goes up against the fence sometimes gets damaged. And I'm wondering, it's not a zoning question, Madam Chair, but it's more of a site plan question. Is there going to be provisions in there for snow removal? So snow is going to be hauled from the site when the snow storage areas get to a point where they may be affecting the fence.
Yes, Director Betty, please.
Thank you very much. Just to note that unfortunately, the town will not be requiring site plan approval for this development. That's no longer an ability. The laws were changed recently where any residential development with less than 10 residential units does not require site plan approval. So there will be no mechanism for the town to enter into an agreement for this development. It will be only through a building permit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes my questions.
Mayor Rawson.
Thank you. Just for clarity for our public that's here, this was heard at a special council last month. The motion wasn't approved, nor was it defeated. We never introduced the motion. Nobody moved and seconded that. With fairness to members of the public, with fairness to the planner, with fairness to our staff, we've given no direction on this item, and we need to give direction tonight. Like, do we support it or not? I'm going to move this motion tonight, Madam Chair. I think it's important we get this on the floor. I think it's important that we debate it. I think it's important that we make a decision. I will support it. Director Betty, I agree with you. Like we're charged with policies, official plan, and the like. And from what I've seen from the applicant and what the materials you provided to us, and what has been provided, it met those requirements. That's our job. So I appreciate your feedback on that. And when you call that, Madam Chair, I will move it.
Thank you. Then I will read this motion, and then we'll see where we go from there. That the zoning bylaw amendment application ZA 3/2025 be approved on the basis that the application is consistent with the provincial planning statement, conforms to the County of Simcoe official plan, conforms to the Town of Penetanguishene official plan, and represents good planning for the reasons outlined in staff report PL-2026-07, and that a bylaw to amend the Town of Penetanguishene Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 2022/17 be brought forward for approval. We have a mover, Mayor Rawson, seconded by. Can I second that motion? No. Okay, so seconded by Councillor Reda-Boncoeur. Okay, any comments from anyone? Councillor Reda-Boncoeur.
Thank you. So with respect to the matter outlined in the report are 4 options: approve the application, refuse the application, refer back to staff, or a non-decision. So with a non-decision, that will, if most likely, if the applicant will appeal that to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Refer to staff, that we need to, if we're going to refer, it's why would we refer it? What are the reasons? What do we want to see staff and the applicant do to the application before they bring it back? Refuse the application, that will most likely result in an appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal. And approve the application, I would think the applicant would be happy and would not appeal. So if we choose not to make a decision, or and basically I think now that's now off the table because we've made this motion, it's basically approve or refuse. If we refuse, then it'll be in front of the OLT, and there's going to be an expense to the municipality in that, because planning staff have recommended approval. They've outlined the policy framework. The applicant's planners have outlined the policy framework. As the director explained at our last meeting, is that the council would need to hire its own planner, probably the municipal solicitor, and we would incur expense, probably a significant expense at that. And so from my standpoint, you know, I'm not 100% sold with respect to this particular development, that it's ideal for this parcel of land. I still have concerns. I think I've reiterated those tonight, and I spoke to them at the public meeting. But I'm going to try to balance to go to the OLT and defend something that all the policies, as the mayor outlined, kind of point in the direction of supporting it. Staff have done their job. Staff have outlined what their professional opinion. If we're not happy, we got to change the policy. But the policy is what the policy is, and this adheres to the policy. They've gone for a few exceptions to the zoning bylaw, but that doesn't affect really the overall type of development that's occurring there. So I'll be supporting the motion.
Thank you for those comments. Does anyone else have a comment to be made? No? No, I'm sorry. No, unfortunately not. I'd like to just make a comment also. We have very competent staff in place who do all the background work for us and bring us recommendations based on their professional opinions and their professional tenure. So when our director comes forward and has approved, tells us that it should be approved based on all of the policies in place. I certainly am not an expert in this matter, and I put my confidence in staff for every report that's brought to us, and I don't see that I would have I don't have any basis for not believing that what's brought forward is competent, and that it is truly a good recommendation. So I will be supporting this too. Mayor Rawson.
Thank you. I just want to thank Councillor Reda-Boncoeur for how you articulate that. And I'm of the same vein. I'm looking at it from the municipality's context. I think a refusal, a denial is going to be a cost to the municipality. And from my perspective, we've seen other one of those applications that end up cost us significant dollars. And I haven't seen too many OLTs that overturn that they will award what's before this applicant. So I appreciate your feedback there. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the vote. All in favor? Opposed? And the motion is carried.
Thank you. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you for your patience. Sorry, I lost my page there. The next is referrals to upcoming agendas and staff, and we still have just the one item for referral. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to add to the list? Seeing none, it's recommended that the Planning and Community Development Services section endorse the following additional and existing referrals to upcoming agendas and staff, and that is 161 Church Street, and is the options for future use, including parkland or other options to define and clarify use. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Waters, seconded by Councillor Marchand. All in favor? Opposed? The motion is carried. I don't believe we have any questions from the media or public, and I'll shoot it back to you, Mayor Rawson.
Thanks, Councillor Rush. Good job on navigating that. We're going to move on to 6, Section 8, Transportation Environmental Services section, and turn the chair to Councillor Vadebunker.
Thank you, Worship. So I'll be speaking to the Transportation Environmental Services section of the agenda. We have one consent item. It's the Drinking Water Quality Management Meeting Minutes from December 3rd, 2025. I'll read the motion and then I'll call for a mover and a seconder that the following consent agenda item, having been given due consideration, be received for information. Drinking Water Quality Management Meeting Minutes from December 3rd, 2025. Any comments? May I have a mover, please? The Deputy Mayor, seconder, Councillor Waters. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. We don't have any items for consideration this evening. We have 2 referrals. One is the septage disposal and treatment resolution. It's been moved along. Just quickly to the director, any update on that, Mr. Director?
For you, Mr. Chair, we expect to have an update to council in Q4 of 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Director. And the next item is the environmental controls for the STP, which we spoke about earlier. Any additional referrals that anybody wants to address? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. The Transportation Environmental Services section endorse the following additional and existing referrals to upcoming agendas and staff. And I read those 2 items. May I have a mover, please? The Deputy Mayor. Seconder, Councillor Marchand. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Questions from the media and the public? Are there anybody online? Thank you. Your Worship, I'm going to turn back to you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Vadebunker. Councillor Roux, Recreation Community Services section.
Thank you, Your Worship. Section Recreation Community Service on the consent agenda. We have 4, and that the following consent agenda items haven't been given due consideration be received for information. The Trails Committee meetings of January 13, 26, Museum and Heritage Committee meetings of April 9th, the Penetanguishene Public Library Board meeting minutes of April 27th, and the Wellbeing and Accessibility Committee meetings of May 21, 2026. Anyone have any concerns or questions? A mover and a seconder, Deputy Mayor and Councillor DeBrush, all in favor. It's carried. Thank you. Under matters for consideration, we have 2. First is the before I read it, is that the 55 Plus Center and Ecology Garden Pilot OTF grant application. and that the proposed 55-plus center pilot program be endorsed, and that staff submit an application to the Ontario Children Foundation seed grant to fund the proposed pilot program, and that if the grant application is successful, the 55-plus programmer position convert from part-time to full-time for the duration of the pilot. Questions, concerns? Mover, Councillor Darash, seconder, Councillor Marchand. All in favor? And that is carried. Second one is the change room use policy. Attach 1 change room use policy, that the change room use policy be adopted as presented in attachment 1 of the staff report RCS 2613. Questions, concerns? Mover and a seconder, Councillor Marchand, Councillor Waters, all in favor, and that is carried. We move on to referrals to the upcoming agenda and staff, and we have a number of them. And the Recreation Community Service section endorsed the following additional and existing referrals to upcoming agendas and staff. One is the Truth and Reconciliation. Second one is Gateway to Rotary Champlain-Wendat Park. Third, Capital Plan for PMCC. Community Youth School Partnership, a request from Anglican Parish, and naming policy. Does anyone wish to add or remove?
We can remove the Truth and Reconciliation. Council adopted that this evening.
Anybody have anything to add? No. Councillor Wedebacher?
Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to propose that we receive an update, Mr. Chair, from staff in terms of the status of all the background work that's being done for the multi-use recreation center. It's my understanding that there are a number of studies underway. Things are happening in the background, but certainly as a member of council, I'm not aware of where we're at with that. So if we could just get an update. There was a work plan that was identified by Colliers, our consultant, and there's a number of items that staff have embarked on, and I think it would be helpful if not only council but members of the community knew that work was underway and what the status is. So I'd like to move that.
So you'd like to add multi-use the rec center updates?
Yeah, so there's background studies that are underway. I'd just like to get an update on where we're at with respect to all the background work that's required.
Okay. CAO, you have a comment, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through to Councillor Vadaboncourt. It's funny, the Director of Recreation and I just had this conversation within the last week. In fact, it might have even been within the last 2 or 3 days. My memory is not helping me right now. So there is going to be an update that's coming to Council next month in July 8th, that will provide, I believe, everything that Councillor Vadaboncourt has just outlined, not only for the benefit of Council, but also for the benefit of the community, that will give an update to that 2-year plan that Colliers proposed and council supported. So through you, Mr. Chair, I hope that satisfies the request of Councillor Vadaboncourt.
Councillor Vadaboncourt?
It does. Thank you.
Okay. So nothing further. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Waters and Deputy Mayor, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Question period from the media and the public? None. So pass it back to you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Roux. We did planning, so we're going to move on to Finance and Corporate Services section. Councillor Marchand, please.
Thank you very much. For Finance and Corporate Services, under the consent agenda, we have one item, the Huronia Community Foundation Youth Endowment Fund Annual Report. I'll read the motion and then get it on the floor if there's any questions. That the following consent agenda item been given due consideration, be received for information, the Huronia Community Foundation Youth Endowment Fund Annual Report. That the town's Youth Endowment Fund Annual Report be received for information. Moved by Councillor Darash, second by Councillor Waters. Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor? Yep. Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. Under matters for consideration, we have one, and that's the Road Division Garage and Wash Bay internal loan. I'll read the motion and put it on the floor, and we can ask any questions that council has. That a loan from the Hydroelectric Commission Reserve Fund for the funding required for the Roads Division Garage and Wash Bay be approved in the amount of $1,080,000 $80,075, excuse me. And that the loan terms are set as follows: 2.56% per annum, 20-year amortization, repayable in blended annual payments of principal and interest of $69,677 to begin as of January 1st, 2027. And further that the annual repayment be included in the 2027 to 2046 Public Works annual budget. And finally, that staff be directed to bring forward the necessary bylaw for council approval. Can I get a mover for that? Councillor Waters, seconder. Deputy LaRose, any questions or comments with regards to this report? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion, or call for a vote. All in favor? Okay, opposed? Okay, that motion is carried. Thank you. And then under referrals and upcoming agenda items, we currently have one, the procedural bylaw update, and we're in the process of having a public meeting and dealing with that. Anyone looking to add any additional referral items? Seeing none, I'll read the motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, Councillor Bedevanko.
Just to follow up on what the clerk said earlier with respect to the deputation that we had and then the letters that were on the CIP, would this be the spot that we would add this letter as a referral item? One of the letters that we received under the CIP?
Through you, Madam Chair. For sure, if committee wishes to add a referral item here, certainly this would be an opportunity to do so. I would just reiterate what the clerk mentioned before, which is we have been working in the background on our response to those letters. So that is in progress. Staff are working on responses to all of those letters that we received, as well as I had some conversation with a couple members of the community this evening, which I will be communicating with, and we'll be looking to coordinate a bit of a meeting with the representatives down there that are representing their neighbors. But certainly, if committee wishes, this would be an opportunity to add as a referral item.
Councillor Bedevanko, would you like to put that on the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just from my standpoint, I'm just interested in an update, so whether at the next council meeting an update could be provided, that's all I'm interested in. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you, and through to Councillor Vadeboncourt, absolutely fair point, fair comment. Once we have those letters finalized, what we will do is add them to the CIP so that they are public, and so that not only committee and council have the follow-up, but also members of the public have that follow-up as well.
Councillor Bedevanko, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it, and I think all of us do appreciate that, given the amount of letters that have provided. Okay, I'll read the motion that the Finance and Corporate Services section endorse the following addition and existing referral to upcoming agenda and staff, the upcoming procedural bylaw update, and that's on the floor right now. Can I get a mover? Councillor Waters, seconded by Councillor DeRush. All those in favor? That carries. And that's no questions from the media or public. Back to you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Marchand. We're going to look for a motion to adjourn at 9:24 p.m. It's moved by Councillor